Stephen W. Burns.
Hello.
If the internet, and I can't pronounce his name, so I'm going to call him Guillermo del Toro, are to be believed, Silent Hills is dead.
Guillermo del Toro.
There we go, that'll do. Now,
I mean, that's just how I say it. That could be totally wrong.
It's open to interpretation, or so I believe.
GDT.
Exactly.
Like he's a wrestler.
GDT. GDT says it's dead, and given everything that's going on with Metal Gear Solid and everything that's going on with Kojima in general, one would be inclined to believe that it's probably true. So we've come into a room, we're going to sit down, we're going to chat about it, because there is more to this situation than meets the eye.
Yeah.
Number one being the fact that Konami will not talk about it, or their messaging, as you said to me all of 30 seconds ago, is atrocious.
Mm-hmm. It's a problem, and it's getting more and more absurd. Thanks, Elton.
Yeah, exactly. But now it's true, because Metal Gear Solid, we all know, no matter what's going on, it's Kojima's focus. He's not going anywhere. His priority is the fans and making sure they have a good game, lovely, peace and love, all that kind of stuff. Silent Hills was different, because Silent Hills was a game that, even from a demo, managed to make people go, holy shit, this could be a big deal. Like, survival horror games they've lost their way entirely. This was genuinely scary, and also had that crazy stuff that Kojima brings to all his projects. Yeah. Plus you got GDT on board, plus the dude from The Walking Dead. So it has this kind of crossover mainstream appeal, plus it's a name that everybody knows. The buzz is there. It's being pulled from PlayStation Network this week. Yeah, Wednesday. But people are saying that it's dead. One of the people that's working on it says that it's dead. If that goes away, and if it doesn't come back, and as as we said, it has to go if Kojima is leaving, because that's one of the reasons people are interested in it. Konami has well and truly, as we would say, fucked it.
Yeah, we don't. I wrote about the situation with Metal Gear and Kojima and Konami, and it's going to be a fascinating story to find out just what happened. And I don't think you can do Silent Hills really without Kojima, because the whole of PT was so good, because you played it and you started to hear these rumblings that, oh, wait a minute, it's actually a Silent Hill game. You're like, well, is it? And then it's all on the, it's one of those that if PT came out, and it couldn't have done, it's the perfect marketing exercise of its time, whilst also being a fantastic experience in its own right. But it's one of those games, if you could imagine if somehow in some weird bizarro 90s, where someone would come in to the playground and be like, have you finished PT, right? And it's like, yes, a new Silent Hill game. You're like, butt leg. Yeah, whatever. My dad works as Sony, does he? Tell me. Yeah. But, people were really excited to discover that it was a Silent Hill game called Silent Hills, and Kojima was on board. But if he's going, then, they can't do it, I don't think. They'll have to go back to doing just a normal Silent Hill game. But if they do that, then people are going out, I wanted that Kojima
They've already lost. Yeah, that's the problem.
As soon as Kojima is announced to have left, and that's the project fucked, basically. Kojima's messaging, as he's gone totally quiet, as Konami have insisted, it seems. But I don't understand why they're not out there saying, look, okay, let's clear the air. But at the same time, they're listed on the stock exchange. So
this is what you said earlier. They're listed on, the stock exchange, which means they have a right to the public to tell them what's going on within their company.
Well, their shareholders have to know. Yeah. And that is the law. You always have to work for, broadly, always have to work for the return of the shareholder above all else, including the state and world harmony. But they may have already been briefed. You think if they had, it would have leaked, because nothing shareholders like more in certain companies than to pop it out to Bloomberg Business Week, so it increases or decreases the share price for their own interests. But it's a clusterfuck. It's a mess. And with this Metal Gear thing, we have one of the voice actresses coming out and going,
that all about?
He's been fired, and having to go, oh, he's not been fired, so you should just leave it. And it's just getting worse.
But this ties into something else we want to talk about. Is this a work? And by work, I mean, is this one of Kojima's incredible marketing tactics where he thinks, hey, look, we can pretend that I've left, and everyone will be talking about our game for the next 6 months or whatever. I don't think it is that, because I think it's just too far away. Like, September is Metal Gear Solid 5, right?
Yes.
That's too far away to start this nonsense, because as soon as E3 comes on these big announcement games, you get pushed further and further down.
Yeah.
And they're doing it terribly. Like, this isn't promoting your game. This is creating confusion and worry among your consumers. Like, what do you mean Metal Gear Solid may not be made by, finished by Kojima? Yeah. What do you mean Silent Hills is a game I'm
You're
excited about?
You're undercutting your own hype.
Exactly. This would be, if it was true, in the case this was all like a big ruse, this would be one of the few cases where Kojima got it hugely wrong. But I don't think that this isn't fun for the people you're trying to sell it to. Everything else, that when he pretends the Phantom Pain isn't a Metal Gear game, all the little things he does in his game, you always look back, and if you could see them a little bit trolly, they're still fun. You still think, I enjoyed the experience. This isn't fun for everybody.
No.
This is just making people, like I say, worry that two games that they're very excited about may not be the product they hope they would be.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And you know how vociferous the game's press and the game's community is.
Yeah.
I tweeted yesterday saying, just remember, guys, that Konami canned Silent Hills just to spite you. And a few people were like that. But people do take it personally. They do because
massively, which is ridiculous.
They get so invested. And I'm a big Silent Hill fan. I mean, I even really liked Silent Hill Downpour.
I remember, yeah, you reviewed it.
Despite the fact it's not a great game, but atmosphere-wise, there's some really good stuff in there. And I was looking forward to seeing what could happen. But at the same time, I think you have to understand the business reality. Now, Konami's holdings aren't just in video games. Some people saying, what's going to happen to Konami should they drop Silent Hill? And Kojima goes, well, they'll still have the brands. Metal Gear, I don't think, will be anywhere near as big without Kojima, obviously. But Konami has divested some of itself into real estate and gambling. They've got a Vegas office that handles all that, pachinko machines. So, I mean, I'm not sure on the exact nature of their finance or anything, but it's not like if they lose a series, they go, well, we've got nothing else coming in, you know?
No, I think it's more from a sort of perception point of view.
Yeah.
Because they did have two...
Pez. Pez and non-Kojima Metal Gear.
That's the thing. If you look at it from that kind of quote-unquote gamer perspective, that's the problem, is that Konami looked like they're about to have this huge resurgence with Metal Gear Solid 5 will probably be good regardless. But then Silent Hills, to me anyway, could have been, had the potential to be that game that reignited a whole genre, which had lost its way a little bit.
Yeah.
And even I hate horror games. Even I was excited about that because that PT demo was so... it was so clever in so many different ways, and even the fact that there was no build, there's an atmosphere there from the second you started.
Yeah.
That's when you start thinking, wow, it's really difficult to just have that to be a thing without having to introduce any apart from go play this game. And within 10 seconds, like I'm on edge, and that's the problem I have with it. I think it's Konami as a business will be fine, but Konami as a gaming powerhouse that wants to get back among the likes of EA and Activision and all that, it's a huge step backwards.
Yeah, and also what's most disappointing, I think, is that Konami was so smart with PT.
Oh, yeah.
PT was the perfect game, the perfect embodiment of the sharing age. So I said at the time, you used to go to the cinema and watch people pretend to be scared in a movie, and people still do that. But now, PT is a perfect Twitch game, so you can go on Twitch and watch people actually be scared.
Yeah.
So, and it was short and it was repetitive, but it was built that way. And it was a little mystery, and someone worked it out within a day, obviously. But it was so perfect for, like I say, sharing and Facebooking, social media. And that level of invention, with Kojima at the helm, you presume at least part of it would have gone on to the finished product. And that's the biggest shame. That will never... Kojima's stuff outside of Metal Gear, I don't actually think is amazing. Box Eye was interesting. They're interesting, like Zone of the Enders... But at the same time, Metal Gear is his thing. But with Silent Hills, I think he really had a chance to stamp his authority on something outside and say, okay, this is another big franchise. And apparently he was asked by the president of Konami, not the United States, the president of Konami.
Obama said,
at the correspondence dinner, you've got to do it. And Kojima is quoted as saying that he said Silent Hill has to go on, because it's such a great franchise, and I really do believe that. But that's the biggest shame. If you forget all of the disappointment and the bitterness, and in a year or two's time, you'll sit down and probably think, that's just a shame. I'm not mad anymore. I'm just disappointed
exactly,
that you didn't get
great.
A Kojima Silent Hill game with all of the batshit craziness.
Yeah.
But really, in the main, the level of invention, and that is a shame.
With all that said, I do want to caveat before we wrap this up that we don't know what happened.
We don't know.
No one knows. So if Kojima did do something that deserves for him to be kicked out the door, then it's not even Konami's fault.
Well, I mean...
I don't think that did happen, but it's only fair to look at both sides of the argument. If you're head of Konami and Kojima does whatever, he's caught in talks with, again, all speculation, he's caught in talks with EA or whoever, then you do have to go, you leave this company now. You've got to take a stand. You've got to bring justice to the world.
I think in my piece that I wrote about this a couple of months ago, that is also an interesting angle on it, because, like I say, they're listed. They've got to make sure that they do right by the shareholders, but also if there is a legal dispute, they also, with the whole Activision and the Infinity Ward guys, and that was really, really messy. And we don't know what's happened. And it seems spiteful to remove PT, presumably because Kojima's name is on the end of it.
Which is weird, isn't it? Because it could stand up there as a game on its own self. Yeah.
And it seems spiteful to remove his name from everything, especially as as his last game, you'd want to sell it like Tarantino style, like the
this
last
is it.
Kojima Metal Gear, blah blah blah. Especially for a man, Kojima, that is, who's so savvy for Hollywood marketing techniques, and that's what they love doing. So we're gonna have to wait and see once he's out, but it could be, speculation here, but he may not be as as white than white as this seems.
No one knows. It's always easy to support the creative developer over the big bad publishing house.
But a year's time, we'll be able to sit back and go, shit.
Exactly. The biggest problem is, like you say, Burns, is that we don't get any. Well, it seems very unlikely that we're going to get Silent Hills.
Yeah.
So it's a shame. It's dead. We have to move on from it, though, and hope that whatever comes next is just as good. But it won't be.
No.
Well, unlikely anyway.
Unlikely.
So, there's a comment box below the video. Let us know what you think's happened to Silent Hills. Are you upset? Do you not care? Like the video. Share the video. You know all that stuff. Later.
See you.